What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the latest Liverpool news video, and also we will talk about the European Super Cup final in this video, so very excited to bring you. And in this video we will talk about Philippe Coutinho. Let me know guys, do you think Liverpool missed out on a big transfer because Liverpool opted not to sign Coutinho on loan, because even Barcelona were offering Coutinho to Premier League clubs on loan, and Liverpool decided not to pursue the loan transfer because it would have cost 20 million pounds plus 10-15 million pounds in wages just to get Coutinho for one season. And I think it's understandable that Jurgen Klopp didn't go for Coutinho the way that they parted ways. But do you think guys, and this is the big question of the video, do you think that Liverpool are ready to win the Premier League title? Do you think we have the squad good enough to beat Manchester City and to beat any other club and finish at the top of the Premier League? At the moment I'm still 50-50 on this. I'm not sure, only time will tell, and only during the season we will find out whether Liverpool are ready to cope with all the demands of the season and whether we have a squad big enough to win the biggest prize, the Premier League title. Because I think last season we had a smaller squad. Now we have Lallana back fully fit, Joe Gomez, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. We also have Ryan Brewster in the squad. We even have players like Ryan Kent, Bobby Duncan, who could be called upon. So I think Liverpool have a bigger squad than last season, but the fullback area is a little bit of a concern. But let's talk about Philippe Coutinho, because Tottenham turned down the chance to sign Coutinho on a loan, and Coutinho is now still at Barcelona. Liverpool at the moment don't need him as much as Coutinho needs Liverpool. Probably that's what many pundits said before the transfer deadline they finished. But now let's look at the Barcelona situation and let's look at Philippe Coutinho's situation, because the European transfer window is still open for another 10 days or 11 days, and it looks most likely that Coutinho could go to Paris Saint-Germain, because actually it turns out Barcelona are talking with Paris Saint-Germain for the transfer of Neymar, and they are offering Coutinho plus money in a swap deal for Neymar. According to RMC Sport in France, they think that the French club may sell their controversial forward Neymar, who hasn't turned up to training to Paris Saint-Germain, and he wants to go back to Spain, he wants to go back to Barcelona. Neymar, when he is fit, starts on the left hand side of the Paris Saint-Germain attack, so it would make sense to bring Coutinho in if Neymar is sold, because Coutinho could start on the left hand side of the Paris Saint-Germain team. And I think Barcelona would have a great side if Neymar joined them, but how would they line up? Because Messi, Suarez, Griezmann and Neymar can't play in the same team. In my opinion, one of them had to miss out on. Maybe Messi will drop back a little bit in midfield and orchestrate the attacks there, and there will be a Neymar, Suarez, Griezmann front line with Messi just in behind. It's a very, very frightening prospect for Barcelona, that's for sure. And the Sky Sports pundit said about the Coutinho to Liverpool transfer failing. This is what he said: I think it's to do with the way that Coutinho left the club. We had that whole situation where he wasn't playing because he had a back injury. I'm not sure that the majority of Liverpool fans have forgiven him yet for the way Coutinho behaved. I'm sure he regrets some of the things that happened and some of the things that were said, and I'm not really sure that Liverpool need him at the moment. They came so close to winning the title this season. They won the Champions League. You got to trust in Jurgen Klopp. If Jurgen Klopp wanted Philippe Coutinho, I think he would be able to pull that deal off, and I'm sure Liverpool owners would back him. Coutinho needs Liverpool more than Liverpool needs him, and that's true. If Jurgen Klopp really wanted Coutinho, I think Liverpool could have made the deal happen. I'm not too upset that we didn't sign Coutinho. I'm just really hoping that Liverpool's squad will be good enough and big enough to challenge and to also actually win the Premier League title, because we are up against an incredibly stacked Manchester City side. And also Bayern Munich have entered the race for Philippe Coutinho, even though Bayern have already bought in Ivan Perisic on a season-long loan. They also bought Lucas Hernandez and Benjamin Pavard for big money. Coutinho still has 4 years left on his contract, so it must be a big money deal to take Coutinho out of Barcelona. And Sky Sports News reported that Coutinho's preference is not to move to Germany. I don't think he's a big fan of the Bundesliga. I think he would like either to stay in Spain or maybe to move to Paris Saint-Germain now that the English options are out of the way. And the Mirror is reporting that Philippe Coutinho's agent has landed in Paris to attempt to thrash out a deal for the attacker at Paris Saint-Germain, because Coutinho is set to be the final part of the jigsaw which will see Neymar move to Barcelona, according to the newspapers. And the former Liverpool player is seen as disposable by the Barca board after an inconsistent year and a half, and at the Nou Camp he only made 76 appearances, and even though he scored like 12 goals in the first in the first 6 months of his Barcelona career, since then he really struggled, and even the fans have been booing Coutinho not too long ago last season. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why Coutinho wants to leave Barcelona. And also, he would probably sit on the bench most of the time. I mean, even without Neymar, they have Luis Suarez, Messi and Griezmann. Coutinho, where does he start? The Barcelona manager Ernesto Valverde doesn't trust Coutinho to play in midfield. He doesn't have the tactical discipline, he doesn't have the defensive mindset that the manager wants one of his midfielders to have. So Coutinho won't play in midfield, and up front there is no space for him, so he will be on the bench. And I think Coutinho at this stage of his career definitely doesn't want to sit on the bench. And what is also very interesting, if Coutinho doesn't want to go to Paris Saint-Germain, which we don't know that yet, Barcelona would offer either Nelson Semedo or Ivan Rakitic to accelerate the transfer. But also Neymar, what is complicating the move is that Neymar is also considering an offer from Real Madrid. And Zidane in a recent interview said very interestingly, Neymar is not in our squad, but until September anything can still happen. So Neymar to Real Madrid or Barcelona, it's anybody's guess what will happen, but that could be again a huge monumental transfer of the summer transfer window. It is believed that Neymar would prefer a move to his former club Barcelona. But the fact that he's even flirting with Real Madrid, the fact that Neymar is even considering Real Madrid as a possible solution, shows that he is not like a Barcelona fan. He is only interested in himself and what is good for his own career. If I was a Barcelona fan, I wouldn't be happy that Neymar is going back to Barcelona if it happens. According to the reports, Real Madrid have already tabled a £130 million offer plus James Rodriguez in exchange for Neymar, but Paris Saint-Germain are not interested in James Rodriguez at all. They instead have asked for playmaker Isco or one of Madrid's goalkeepers, Thibaut Courtois or Keylor Navas, to be included in the deal. So maybe Real Madrid would like to sell Isco and Keylor Navas if they really want to bring in Neymar, so I can see that happening. And the Barcelona spokesman has told Goal.com this, and I quote, "There is interest from FC Bayern, but there is no agreement. That is all there is to say at the moment." And it's interesting that Bayern Munich are interested in Coutinho, but I think it would take a huge transfer fee, and Bayern probably can't afford him because they already spent an incredible amount of money on players already this summer transfer window. But according to journalist Bruno Andrada, Coutinho will be soon sold by Barcelona. According to this journalist, he is saying that Coutinho will be loaned to Bayern Munich with an option to buy him at the end of the loan deal. And that's why I said that Bayern probably doesn't have the money to sign him permanently right now. But if they could delay the signing by just 1 year and loan him in and then sign him, and also Bayern have to pay Coutinho's £10 million wages in an annual salary, which is a huge amount of money. And what is also very interesting is that Paris Saint-Germain chief executive Leonardo told the La Parisienne newspaper this is what he said: Neymar can leave Paris Saint-Germain if there is an offer that suits everyone. Neymar, the club, the interested party as well. But to this day, we do not know if anyone wants to buy him or at what price. All that is not done in a day, that's for sure. Paris Saint-Germain wants to rely on players who want to stay at the club and build something big. We do not need players who would do a favor at the club by staying here. And according to journalist Tancredi Palmieri, Barcelona are willing to offer Paris Saint-Germain £92 million and Coutinho, which is interesting. So he said Barcelona are ready to offer Coutinho plus 100 million euros for Paris Saint-Germain star Neymar. Paris Saint-Germain wants Coutinho plus 140 million euros. So at the moment the valuation is 40 million apart. If the deal goes through, according to the journalist, Paris Saint-Germain is ready to use the money to sign Paulo Dybala and Donnarumma from Juventus and AC Milan respectively. So that is a very, very complicated transfer saga, and we shall wait and see what happens out of all these scenarios. But I just wanted to report on the Coutinho situation because I think this is a very, very interesting. And for the first time in the history of the UEFA Super Cup final, which will be played tonight, and I will be covering the game for you guys, so very, very interested and looking forward to how Liverpool and Chelsea will match up against them. That is the first time that two English sides will be competing in the final. And the game is held in Istanbul, which of course Liverpool have very fond memories of Istanbul. And Liverpool have won the European Super Cup in 77, 2001 and 2005. So we already have 3 European Super Cup trophies. And if we win the final, we will draw level with Real Madrid on 4 titles. That would mean that only Barcelona and AC Milan, who both have 5 European Super Cup final wins, would have won the competition more often than Liverpool. And Chelsea, meanwhile, has won the European Super Cup only once. That win came in 1998, 3 years before manager Frank Lampard moved to Chelsea as a player, which is interesting. The Liverpool have only ever beaten Chelsea twice in European competitions. Both of those matches ended 1-0, and both of those matches ended up with Liverpool qualifying for the Champions League final in 2005 and 2007. So that's very interesting. Also, if Joel Matip starts the game, it will be his 100th appearance for Liverpool, or even if he comes on the bench and comes on as a substitute. Joe Gomez, an option at right back in place of Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is often left out away from home in Europe. That is a very real possibility. So that's a question whether Trent or Joe Gomez will start as the right back. 5 of the 11 previous meetings in Europe against Chelsea have been a draw for Liverpool, and if that is the case, in the European Super Cup final there will be an extra time and also penalty shootouts. And David Maddock, a journalist, is reporting bad news for Liverpool because Naby Keita last night left training early with what looks like a muscle problem. He walked off with a physio and went straight down the tunnel, which suggests it's not the best news, and that could be an injury recurrence. I really hope that Naby Keita won't be out for long because he's such an exciting player, and I really hope that Liverpool can play him regularly this season. It's a frustrating blow for Naby Keita, who already spent plenty of time on the sidelines during 2019, and he also injured himself at the Africa Cup of Nations. That disrupted his pre-season. He only just came back training, and he played against Manchester City in the Community Shield final, and also he played against Lyon in a friendly game as well. And then Naby Keita was left on the bench against Norwich, perhaps with a view of playing him from the start in midweek, but now that looks like it's out of the window, and Naby Keita will have to get himself fit sooner or later. I really hope that injuries don't ruin his Liverpool career, because so far Naby Keita couldn't show his true potential because of injuries, and that's really sad. Liverpool are already without Alisson, and now it looks like we are without Naby Keita for the Chelsea game. But our opposition are in a difficult position themselves. Two of their best players, N'Golo Kante and Antonio Rudiger, are fighting fitness issues. They haven't started against Man United in the first Premier League game, and probably they will only make the bench. And it looks like, according to some journalists, this will be Chelsea's starting lineup. Kepa, Azpilicueta, Marcos Alonso, Zuma, Christensen, Kovacic, Jorginho, Pedro, Jason Mount, Pulisic and Giroud. There's plenty of experience in that side, but on paper Liverpool really should be able to get at that defense. I mean, Zuma, Christensen, Marcos Alonso, they are not the best defenders, and Pulisic is a top player, so Trent Alexander-Arnold or Joe Gomez, whoever plays on the right back position, will have to be careful going forward, as Pulisic will be probably going down the flank, and also up top Olivier Giroud is a threat in the air. Liverpool defense have to be very careful with the crosses and defending them, but Virgil van Dijk is the best header of the ball in probably the Premier League. So I think with Chelsea lacking a bit of pace, Liverpool can play on the front foot. We can play with the high line and probably get away with it. I expect again the same attack and the same midfield that played against Norwich, except I think Mane will come in for Divock Origi, and defensively maybe Matip will start and Joe Gomez will start on the right back spot, or maybe Matip will start and Trent Alexander-Arnold will start on the right back spot. And Trent Alexander-Arnold actually recalled the exact moment where he fell in love with Liverpool FC. This is what he said: "European nights at Anfield are just different. To be there in the main stand, it's unreal. You just try to take all of it in. You just hope you remember everything in the morning. The floodlights beaming down onto the pitch, the energy coming from the Kop." The first game for Trent Alexander-Arnold was the Liverpool-Juventus Champions League quarter-final in 2005, the year where we went on to win the Champions League. This is what he said: "The moment that I will always have stuck in my head was when all the ball boys walked out to the center circle. There were like 20 of them, they were waving that massive red flag, and then the Champions League anthem started playing, then the Kop started to sing 'You Will Never Walk Alone,' and the power of that, literally, I just fell in love with it, all of it. I knew what I wanted to do with my life, to become a Liverpool player and to play for this famous crowd. And whoa boy, did Trent Alexander-Arnold fulfill his boyhood dream. I'm so happy for him. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.